Oh, and just one more question. The latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net. Ad tech company Gumball has just announced Gumshoe, a real-time tool to measure ad impressions from host-read podcast ads. The solution includes audience demographics, brand category exclusivity, and a booking tool. Podcast Movement 2022 sessions are now available on demand. International podcast investment company PodX has taken a majority stake in French podcast studio Nouvelle Écoute. And in the same release, Nouvelle Écoute has announced it has acquired studio Minuit, which claims it's the second largest podcasting group in France in terms of monthly listeners. Podcast hosting and monetization company Acast has launched a new post-roll ad format in France, dubbed co-branded stories. The format consists of 2 to 3 minutes of bonus content carried immediately after a podcast episode. After he was fired from the BBC's feedback programme, Roger Bolton is to present his own podcast, Beeb Watch. Bolton, aged 76, presented his last programme on August the 29th. Adthos has added more than 75 new data API points that allow dynamic podcast ads to be produced based on data from sport, stocks or news. And New Voodoo has shared its research, 6 things listeners love about podcasts and 4 that make them crazy, on YouTube. In People News, we have news of new co-hosts for the Washington Post podcast Post Reports, NPR's Code Switch, and What a Day from Crooked Media. You can find out who they are and see if you can guess why I'm not going to dare pronounce them in our show notes or our newsletter at podnews.net. And in podcast news, the Sound Off podcast has radio analyst and consultant Fred Jacobs as a guest, and they talk podcasts too. We'll link to a transcript today. The Devil Within, a true crime podcast from Cavalry Audio, launches its second season today on Wondery Plus. A story from the north of England. It focuses on a church-ordered exorcism that goes horribly wrong. And need a new show to listen to? New Podcast Trailers is available in your favourite RSS podcast app and contains trailers from lots of new shows. You'll find it at podnews.net/trailers. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.